He's read over 300 books
Then
on banking
after
history.
everyone's like, "What the fuck?" He's gonna do a rap.
Maybe the person in the
Way
world
to
who's read the
explain my
most of
joke.
banking history. And so growing up, he would explain Marxist lies to me. I'm sorry, I love you, Dad, but you have very strong Asperger's. My father had crippling mercury poisoning when he inseminated me.
Oh yeah, I don't know. So you guys know anything about What If
Which
Alt
nearly
History?
killed him.
He's gone insane. He's just straight up gone fucking insane. He's like a weird right wing guy who made like kind of history videos, kind of a thing, and now he is like he had like a 10-hour video where he went batshit fucking insane.
He would leave me at home for weeks when he was on business trips for work and expected me to take care of the house. Now we get to my mom's side of the family, and there's an interesting detail here that my great-grandma was kind of a hoe, and that she was sleeping with two men. Mom forced me to go
Kind of
with
a
a
hoe.
midwife around 4 a.m. since she believes hospitals killed the spirit of a child through how they birthed children, and she also forced me to get no vaccines as a kid since she believed they were dangerous to spiritual development. My mom was really against the COVID vaccine.
Sorry, I don't know
She
what
cut
we're
out my
laughing
sister
at.
during COVID because my sister took the vaccine. My mom would literally make moonshine in the garage, and my mom was
Based.
kicked in the head by a horse. And
Crazy.
I just assumed my mom was dead for the next 2 days, and she was brain dead. After she nearly died, said that she had visited God. She said that God had forced her to come back to help people. This resulted in her immediately divorcing
I don't
my
know. Do they
father.
have the part? There's one. They better have it. Oh, they do. Yes. Excellent at the end. Okay.
She claimed that my dad
He gets legit. He gets fucking crazy at the end, bro. He starts talking about how he's getting high on psychedelics and then fighting the left in the spirit world. It's awesome.
who was beating her and my sister and me. There's literally no evidence for this at all. However, my mom is a literal schizophrenic.
Way to spoil it, dude.
Really spiraled
Bro,
with getting
you think I didn't actually say the craziest part? I didn't. That wasn't the crazy part. That's just me introducing the craziness. Like you think, bro, you spoiled it. No. I just introduced you the intro of the movie, and the intro to the movie is so fucking crazy that you think I just spoiled the whole movie. No, bro, I did not.
in the head by a horse. She had issues beforehand, and then it became magnified. And her entire life since that has been a downward spiral towards greater and greater madness. My mom said that God had told her the best way she could help human history was by torturing me. She said she did this since she loved me, and God told her that the more she tortured me, the more vastly disproportionate the impact on human history would be in a positive way. My mother had raped me over 40 times in that age range. The details make things even vastly worse. My mother waterboarded me at least 2 or 3 times, or drowning me in the bath. My mom had forced me to rape my own sister, and she had forced the babysitter to rape me. My mom had burned me with scalding water to punish me.
Yes,
Hit me in the back with a shovel as a kid.
To pause the movie, everything. Let's talk about trivia. Ask if you like that
few
scene.
memories have really
I
stuck
stare
with
at
me.
them. I only show people movies I've watched, and I stare at them. And if they don't laugh when I fucking laugh, then there's a problem.
And they required years of EMDRs to clean out. One was my mom beating me over the head with a 1,000-page book. That was her standard move, and she did it hundreds of times. The sound's been locked in my ears as a crack, like gunpowder. I just hear... It's so loud, and it was stuck in my ears. When I was stressed, my ears would block up with sounds. So when I'd have panic attacks, I'd hear the sound crackling in my ears. And
He collabed with J-Reg. He collabed with a couple. He's fucking What If All History. He has like a shitload of subs.
I can't over.
He just like his brain broke, bro. I think people were saying, what was the funniest fucking comment? One-shotted by ayahuasca.
I needed so many EMDRs to heal from this. My mom would
So
claim
fucking
to own
funny,
me
bro.
and my soul, and gave me no privacy. She would walk in on me in the shower and bathroom and scream at me, or give me an
He does talk like that guy. He is not that guy, though.
Charge. She hated me just for being a man, and she said she owned my penis. She would tell me that she could see into my mind, and she punished bad thoughts. My mom unironically practiced black magic. She was doing satanic rituals when I was a kid. I know this. I've seen it. I have photographic memory. I remember. This is all real. She believed that she practiced magic, and she did. I don't know how effective it is, but it objectively happened. As said before, my mom would drown me in a bath a few times. And that was one of her favorite methods to torture me. She used it to try to get me to break me. Her whole goal was to break me. And there were a couple times where I did something she didn't like, and then she just drowned me. My mom would also hold me down and smash my head against the bathroom floor repeatedly. This was really difficult for me to move past, and I still have nightmares about it now. There was an experience that bordered on spiritual, where my mom was smashing my head against the bathroom floor, and I passed out from the suffering. I basically psychically orgasmed from how bad the pain was, feeling ecstasy in the suffering. I found that this was one of the most difficult things to heal from. Yeah, my mom would also rape me by holding down my legs, and she would force me to do other really horrible things. There's this region around my crotch.
Why the fuck would you say it like that? Bro, why? This is edited down 28 minutes. It's 10 fucking hours of, like, if you combine everything he said. It's fucking insane, bro. He, like, posted this on his Patreon or something. Like, 3 massive fucking videos of him just talking about all the shit that happened in his life. And everyone was like, why? Like, what the fuck? Why did he do that? He's insane. He's crazy, bro. He's a crazy person. You haven't got to... He's talking about his trauma. I told you, just wait, bro. We haven't got to the craziest shit.
Even today, if you touch it, I'll shudder. It's a real issue for massages. The masseuse will just touch a part of my body, and I'll have to refrain from screaming. The last girl...
But then why does he go to massage parlors?
She was sleeping over, and she just touched my shoulder. My shoulder just started shaking uncontrollably, and I had to leave the room. My mom, she would keep beating me until I basically passed out and gave up, because her whole thing was she wanted to break my will. And she used the 1,000-page book, and she would chase me through the hallways when I tried to run away, and she was taller than me, and so she outran me. And I remember screaming, "Please, Mommy, please stop. Please don't touch me, Mommy. Please, please, please." I periodically still say, "Please don't touch me" in my sleep, and as a knee-jerk reaction. Like if I'm driving and a driver does something that freaks me out, I'll say, "Please, please don't touch me." It's something that's just unconscious. My mom would just keep beating me harder and harder without saying anything. She just did it. And whenever I'd scream, she would say, "No one's ever going to hear you because we lived in the countryside. Our nearest neighbors were miles away." So I'd scream at the top of my lungs and no one could hear it. I said before that ceiling fans...
He was 6'4", by the way. I mean, maybe he is. I'm not going to lie, looking at him, that feels incorrect. But maybe, I don't know, bro.
PTSD.
Tell his mom. Look, he was a kid, so...
Where?
Bro, he was getting the shit kicked out of him as a dope male. Fucking pussy.
The ceiling fan, I would stare at it while I was getting raped. And I would just look at the ceiling fan, I look at the turbine, and I focused on that while my mom was raping me. And for the light, I would stare up at the lights at the house. And when I was in ayahuasca, I kept seeing the orb of light. Symbolic for the sun.
Was it really? Did ayahuasca make him upload these videos? Good lord.
All things. Even stuff like summer. My mom to me more in the summer. So once there's a certain temperature threshold, my mom was just evil. So she would be in the summer. And then there was a time she left me in my room freezing without any furniture or blankets or heating. So when it was cold, I was thinking about that. My mom hurt me so many different ways. My mom was obsessed with the CIA and had read dozens of books about them. She unironically used CIA torture and brainwashing techniques on me. My mom
she MK Ultra'd his ass.
Brainwashing. She would constantly try to break my sense of reality, and she used gaslighting on what feels like an industrial scale. God, fuck me, man. My mom said she tortured me because she loved me. She told me God told her to do it, and that by torturing me, she was having an enormous impact on history. She said that God told her that no matter how cruel and petty she got, it would have an exponentially positive effect on history, and so she had to torture me as much as possible. She said that by destroying me, she was destroying men, and she said she kept on removing her responsibility for the situation and the locus control,
Be on,
where she said
on a
she
first
wasn't doing
date,
this, God was forcing her
unironically.
to do this. Because when God gives you an order, you do it. I knew my mom worked with the devil, and I would call her demonically possessed to her face. I would call her demon
What?
and I would call her demonic for the situation and the locus control, where she said she wasn't doing this, God was forcing her to do this. Because when God gives you an order, you do it. I knew my mom worked with the devil, and I would call her demonically possessed to her face. I would call her demon mommy. Sometimes when she beat and rapes me, I would scream, "Please go away, demon mommy. You're not my real mommy. I want mommy back." I would have philosophic debates every day between God and the devil. I
What?
realized that I was living in hell. So I got the migraines when my mom made me touch my sister, and they started kicking in because I didn't want to do it. And
Oh, bro, he's crying. This is fucked up.
And so my body was trying to stop me, and then she made me do it anyway. And I'm sorry, Valentine. You were there too. You understood what happened. And I'm sorry. It's not my fault, but I'm still sorry. She's a very intelligent person. Remember that she went to Columbia University and was valedictorian of her high school. In between whipping and beating me, she would explain the nature of the Platonic forms, Goethe's philosophy.
Fuck! She would explain Platonism in between beatings? What the actual fuck, bro? What the fuck is going
The
on?
folk ways of English rural life, and she's a very good cook, another skill she taught me. There were a few times before I had sex, and in the middle of it, I started having a PTSD attack, with PTSD memories flooding back.
Let's take a break from the darker stuff to the more comical dating life of Mr. Rudyard Lynch. And I do promise you, this is how he edited his own videos. I'm simply cutting them down to the weirdest parts. Yes, he started talking about dating and conservative culture immediately after talking about how his mom abused him for most of his childhood.
Crazy.
But I went on dates with like a dozen different girls in that few-month period, including a few Instagram models. I have what shouldn't be high standards, but often turn into them, where I immediately cut out a woman who lies to me, who insults my honor, who is older than 26.
Fuck? Bro, he's Leonardo fucking DiCaprio, bro.
Who is a whore, who annoys me. Because my rule is, if I would rather stay at home and listen to Korpiklani than go on a date with you, then we will not have a date, and I will stay at home and listen to Korpiklani. The female company must exceed the quality of the heavy metal I listen to get me to leave the house.
Base? Oh, holy fucking base.
One time I went viral for posting a photo of me when someone posted a really nerdy photo as a caption to something I said. The real photo of me was so handsome as a contrast that it got nearly 1 million views. I am going to hold the "I was so handsome I went viral" card over people for the rest of my life. I cut her after a few months because she was disrespecting me too much and she wasn't easy to deal with. This is my biggest thing with girls. I want you to be passively pleasant enough that I enjoy the act of being with you. And my current issue with dating is I can get lots of women who I can sleep with. It's stuff like this people get super sensitive about because there's a degree of envy and there's a degree of are you lying. But yeah, my thing is it's relatively easy for me to get women to sleep with, and it's very difficult to find women I respect enough.
What a fucking Sigma. Link this in chat.
That I would marry her or even date her, because that involves me seeing her on a semi-regular basis. And I've had multiple times in the past where I've gone out with girls for longer than a short period, but I'm just not in a place where just the passive quality of person, like, do you not lie? Are you nice to me? Do you treat me with respect? And then 2 relatively attractive women sat down in the seat next to me, and they were surrounded by the Harvard Comedy Club. And they were trolling me. And this is why Northeasterners
trolling
have no
me.
manners. What they did was objectively rude and not cool. But they were trying to mock me.
Imagine 2 girls sit next to you and they start talking to you, and you're like, "This is objectively rude and not cool."
and berate me, and then they open your bag kit, because I use Mexican artisanal bags. I use leather artisanal Mexican bags. So I showed them the bag, like, who are you? I told them about my life. I told them the stuff I had done, about all those things. And they were super impressed at the end. They started
Bro, and everyone fucking clapped, bro.
With roasting me, and then at the end they were congratulating me because I was showing them how I was carrying an Esteban cigar, which is one of my favorite brands, next to JFC Fuller's History of Western Warfare, next to the leather bag.
There's no way this is a true fucking story, bro. They saw my cigar in my book, and I told them about how cool my life was, and then they were like super into it. So he deleted this 10-hour stream, bro. It wasn't like a stream. It was like 3 fucking videos that he uploaded his Patreon or some weird shit like that. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know, bro.
About my life. And they open your bag kit, because and this is why Northeasterners have no manners. What they did was objectively rude and not.
I don't know why he rewound.
But
rude.
They were trying to mock me and berate me, and then they open your bag kit, because I use Mexican artisanal bags. I use leather artisanal Mexican bags. So I showed them the bag, like, who are you? I told them about my life. I told them the stuff I had done, about all those things. And they were super impressed at the end. They started out with roasting me, and then at the end they were congratulating me because I was showing them how I was carrying an Esteban cigar, which is one of my favorite brands, next to JFC Fuller's History of Western Warfare, next to the leather bag. And with each story, I was telling them more about my life. And at the end, they said, we're so glad we were in a timeline where we got to meet you. I thought Harvard would have a lot of cool talent, but everyone there was fucking lame. Where Merrick and I, we were hanging out at the dorm, and we just grabbed the bottle of vodka. And
what the fuck is he talking about? He just hangs... Bro, this is so fucking made up. He's like, yeah, bro, I just hang out with Harvard people, and they're so fucking lame, dude.
Double shot of vodka whenever I start drinking to loosen myself up. And the kid's like, no, you can't have our vodka. And I'm like, well, we'll pay you for the vodka. And they said no. And then the guys didn't like that I was staying with her. And so they tried to kick me out of the dorm with this arbitrary meeting. Like, you have to do meeting. And we were just chilling. And people recognized who I am. And they said, oh, yeah, you're Rudyard. You'll start asking me questions. And they just didn't like that we had chill vibes. Because everyone there was lame. Everyone there at Harvard is just a constant overthinker. I'm thinking, these men can't do shit. They can't run a fucking brewery, let alone run a country. How are they going to fight in war? How are they going to lead companies? How are they going to lead men? How are they going to invent technology when it's a bunch of fucking paper pushers? These people can't do shit. I literally...
What the fuck is going on?
Talent in my hometown with Mike from Wawa. I would take Mike from Wawa over Harvard talent.
Now things are about to get really, really wacky.
Yeah.
So I basically decided to take the future of conservatism into my own hands. A manifesto I wrote, the manifesto for the New Right, that was dictated to me by God. And God told me to integrate science, Christianity, and Darwinism into a single coherent theory.
Based.
I've been regularly communicating with God about what he believes the future of the world should be.
Thank God.
What I'm about to feed you in this video is the best attempt. Think of how many people communism killed. That being more than every other ideology in history combined, as Matthew White, the greatest expert on this topic, pointed out. Communism was there to kill all religion.
Wait. Thought maybe it was the Black Book of Communism, and then I would have memed on him. Nope. It's not that. Carry on.
And we are here to enable all religions. Our goal is to save as many lives and help as many people.
Squid's a faker. Look, man, I guess I am. I don't know the #1 scholar on the death of communism or whatever. My bad, dog.
Please help us in achieving our goal. I was praying to God to end my suffering for like the 10,000th time, and God did reply this time. However, it was a different God than the ones I spoke to before. This was the Norse god Odin. I will later explain to you over the course of this video why me communing with a pagan god does not count as heresy. He said my PTSD...
Thank God. Or thank Odin. I don't know, whatever.
It
Who
was a
cares?
tool for him, and I had already completed the task he asked me to do. He said that he had cleaned me out of my PTSD. There'd be some ups and downs, but it was basically over. And that was right. This happened like 3 months ago, and my PTSD's gotten so much better. Thank you for healing me of PTSD. I prayed for you thousands of times to do this, and thank you so much. I'm just gonna keep thanking you in front of this audience to demonstrate how grateful I am. You don't understand. He said that he had been using me and that I'd already done most of the work he wanted me to do. He said that I didn't have to worry anymore and the rest of my life would be a lot easier. Your duty is to find the best spirit.
That's crazy. He had that, and then he's like, let me upload this schizo shit.
And serve it and be nice to it and treat it with respect and compassion. So, the spirit world is both very complex but also very simple. Odin is both a messenger and
it's like a Rubik's Cube. That's the spirit world.
Odin uses different lowercase gods, or in the Christian tradition, angels, to provide certain roles.
Or the Joker movie. Y'all motherfuckers loved it.
For Darwinistic evolution and being a messenger for God. If you read the Bible, you find it doesn't say other lowercase gods don't exist. And Odin says he really likes the Christians, which is why he forced his people, the Nordics, to convert to Christianity to make them stronger. When I say Rudyard is founding a religion, I mean something along the lines of communism, Confucianism, or Taoism, which is a philosophy of moral conduct. What? You should perceive whatever Rudyard's doing as anti-communism. This religion is meant to be the inverse of communism, and so if you don't consider communism to be a religion, then this isn't a religion.
I didn't get this at first either. Keep this in mind. Whenever he uses the word we, he's referring to himself and Odin. And in his own words, Odin may or may not be possessing him during these videos to explain his moral philosophy.
What the fuck?
We're not here to tell you what to believe, but to give you good advice. We're gardeners who want the world to grow into a stunningly beautiful forest. We love you, the animals, the trees, and the spirits more than we could ever say. There's no worshiping here. You will still be here to revere the Christian gods with your heart and souls. You will still be here to revere the Christian God with your heart and soul. Go to church, pray to Christ, and all that. Yahweh is also my Lord, so I do this too. However, I'm here to be your cool older brother to teach you useful advice.
Bro, Odin is here to be sick and chill and take over What If Alt History.
I will give you completely reasonable and practical advice on how to be successful and increase your reproductive odds. This is advice that...
Is he schizophrenic Andrew Tate? What the fuck?
It will be completely obvious to you once you hear it and will help you, your children, your people survive, procreate, and have fun. Everything I say will be common sense and true. You can ignore this.
I don't like his smile, bro. His smile's fucking upsetting. Put that shit away, dude. Holster that.
Yahweh is Lord of your soul. And he is ultimate Lord, and Odin does not mess with Yahweh. Yahweh is a good guy, to say the least. However, to a god, you mortals all appear as the worst kind of woman. You appear silly, childish, irresponsible, and ungrateful.
You are all just, to a god, you're all uppity bitches.
Thus it goes without saying that your God did an act of stunning kindness to you against a brutal, uncaring, Darwinistic universe. You should always thank others when they're kind to you. So thank you for your service, Odin, and it's an honor to serve. I'm here for you for the rest of my life. That means the entire rest of our lives, hopefully until nearly the 22nd century if I don't die, is a attempt to explain and articulate what just happened here.
It's kind of weird. It is like he says how like my mom used to beat me because the more they'd beat me, the more I'd have an effect on the world and how good that effect would be. And now his brain is like, I've been infected with Odin and now I'm going to help lead the world. It's like, bro, it's like he's like playing into the schizo shit his mom told him. This is fucking weird.
What the fuck just happened moment.
His mild autism, bro. No, he has schizophrenia. This is clearly fucking psychosis.
It's still real. Part of the reason Odin reached out to me is that I love the act of leading so much. I provide a different service. in this game through Rudyard.
I just love being a fucking leader. Ugh.
Another name for Lord Hermes Trismegistus.
Makes him nut.
Rudyard serves me, and he will be operating under my protection. Yahweh also
I kind of believe
owns him,
bro.
it
makes sense to me, bro. I'm here for it.
I spoke with Yahweh, and he's fine with letting me play for Rudyard right now. Play with Rudyard right now. Hi, this is Rudyard. I'm going to take the narration back now. Thank you for your service, Odin. Odin likes these words for when someone offers you a service.
Wait, so that was Odin talk. So his name's Rudger. Bro, Odin was talking to us. I didn't even realize that. That was Odin the whole time. What the fuck?
Respect, where he says a simple thank you or thank you for your service. And you should respond with, it's an honor to serve. I know that if I could lead both my men and my YouTube audience, I would be capable of unlocking whatever I wanted out of life. I knew I already had the network, experience, and talent that I could accomplish whatever I wanted in my life. Odin intervened in the game, and he said, hey kid, if you write a list of every
Didn't sound like Odin to me. He sounded like a fucking nerd.
Masturbate to, I will solve every issue in your life. I feel like we've built up enough connection after 6 hours that I can share stuff like this with you, and you've seen so much worse so far in this story. This is nothing compared to some of the earlier stuff with my mom. I thought it was kind of weird when Odin said it, but he had healed my PTSD, so I'll do what he says. You don't understand how much I love God, both Yahweh and Odin, for healing my PTSD. This might be too much information.
So I don't know if you heard what he said. He's gonna list the name of every girl he's masturbated to because Odin said to do it.
But we're past that stage where every single girl on the list was white. And I'm only really attracted to white girls. I also find porn innately disgusting. Remember, I do have empathic abilities where I can look at the porn girl and then figure out her mental state and figure out what she's about. And they're all...
He's a fucking empath? Are you for real? What? That's crazy.
All clearly addicted and really depressed, and I just find them really sad to watch. I don't know how you folks enjoy this or find this fun. Thus, I only look at old school artistic nudes, like the kinds you keep at a museum's art. I find the female form irresistible.
Wait. He jerks off to paintings. Is that what he just said? He fucking jerks off to paintings? Okay.
I keep nude art around my house.
Oh my fucking god, he jerks off to paintings. Jesus Christ.
Of artisanal leather, antique maps, and Chinese watercolor. Masturbating wasn't even...
Wait, what?
Old school artistic nudes, like the kind you'd keep at a museum's art. I find the female form irresistible, and thus I keep nude art around my house alongside my collections of artisanal leather.
Oh, okay, I thought he said he was jerking off to the leather, which
maps and Chinese watercolor.
It's so much Reddit karma.
Masturbating wasn't even really seen as bad until the early modern period, where it was really low on the medieval stack of sins, and its taboo status has more to do with the rise of reason making us scared of our animal instincts than anything itself in Christianity. Odin said that not letting young men masturbate is cruel due to how high their sex drive is. Odin said trying to block young men from masturbating is the equivalent of blocking young women from being deceitful. He said that this is a win for the...
Damn, bro. Odin's a weird sexist. That's crazy.
Boys, and he says, quote, I can see your hypocrisy. I know you all do it, and you lie that you don't. You are liars and fakers. So when I looked at my wank sheet, Odin said, yes, human biology is biology.
Go back. What? What do you want to hear? Go back. What? You want to hear about women being deceitful and men straight jorking it? It's a win for the boys.
He said that this is a win for the boys, and he says, quote, I can see your hypocrisy. I know you all do it, and you lie that you don't. You are liars and fakers. So when I looked at my wank sheet, Odin said, yes, human biology is biology. You don't have to be scared. Nothing in the Bible says you have to be scared about your own body. So when I looked at my wank sheet, Odin said, it's very clear you are very attracted to the women of your people. And you have zero plausible deniability in denying that at this point. I've seen this sheet. And he said, okay, kid, you were asking me for any reason to live, any reason to have energy. You feel lethargic.
Odin is Ohio
shows
Sigma.
you very clearly care about something. So why don't you do it? He said, Rudyard, I know you don't get laid enough. I like your genetics. I would really like you to get laid more. And he said, okay, Rudyard, you're the hero of the fucking story. Why didn't you think you were? Your parents gave you such a pointlessly heroic name of Rudyard William Lynch. I know your backstory. We watched this video. You're a fucking hero, kid. Be a fucking hero. Be a hero for your people and save them. I've been trying to get the plot...
And fuck white women and have babies.
To get the plot to get here. You finally got
Wait, does
here.
God have a wank sheet? No, Odin, you weren't fucking listening. Odin told alt history that he had to write down the name of every woman he's ever masturbated to. And then Odin read over the wank sheet.
Thank you, Rudyard. So be a fucking hero. Your women would show some gratitude if you were a hero, so be a fucking hero. And he said, look, kid, so this sheet is a contract, and it shows that body...
I still just love that comment, one-shotted by ayahuasca award.
Is controlled by life. Your soul is controlled by Yahweh, and your body is controlled by the life force. This is why you can't stop yourself from sexually fantasizing and masturbating. Because your life is trying to propagate, which is its natural end point. Oh, the horror. You're thinking about making sure your species survives. You're thinking about making sure your people have children. You're such a terrible person for wanting to propagate your ancestral line and help all of your family and all of your ancestors. Rudyard, you already implicitly signed this contract with your own life force. And the spirits really like you having this much pleasure. We love watching you writhe in complete pleasure, and it makes us happy to know that you're happy. Yeah. So this should be pretty self-explanatory, Rudyard. Your people have dozens of heroes you could pull from. Just be the fucking hero, kid. We'll reward you if you do it right. Odin is the god of masturbation in Norse mythology, with various theories.
Is he really? There's no fucking way, bro. There's no way Odin is the god of masturbation. What the fuck? Incarnation
of Odin, and Shakespeare being a masturbation joke. Shakespeare was pretty crude and sexual in the context of his time. Hermes also taught humans how to masturbate in the Greek tradition.
Thank you,
are
Hermes.
About to experience suffering as a species on a horrible level, but we need to tell you that we still love you, and at the end of this evolution is something more beautiful than you could ever possibly imagine. If you make it, things will be so good.
Okay, I think that's a pretty good note to end it on.
Gem detected.
Keep in mind, I only used clips from 2 of the 3 4-hour-long videos he made.
Oh my god, there's...
I've not gotten to the 3rd one yet, but I didn't want to make this one too long, and I kept it to the best clips from these 2, but there are still many clips that I saved that I didn't use for this video. I'll probably make a part 2 eventually. My end conclusion is that he is probably profoundly mentally unwell, and I think he probably had his brain rearranged by a Mesopotamian corn demon while he was on ayahuasca.
His brain rearranged by a Mesopotamian corn demon?
Do not harass him. But keep this in mind when you see the next one of his videos and it's another insane thing like another American Civil War or an incel uprising or whatever the hell else he's talking about. Like and subscribe if you want a part 2. And
this was the video. I refused to watch this video because it's so fucking... I just hated it. I hated the like AI generated cover. I hated fucking everything. I hated this whole fucking thing. Vid, I'm curious. Fuck.
This topic is one of the most
bro, thanks. My left ear fucking loves this.
In all of society. Most people won't discuss it or even think
I think
about
my wife's
it since
boyfriend
they
let
don't
me
want
watch
to deal
this.
with the immense social shaming that comes from it. As a person who studies history, you tend to see that we're incredibly ruthless to previous eras of history. That being said, every era of history thinks they're in the right, and they always do something wrong in a major way. Thus, it goes without saying that we're doing the same thing since every society does so. The human mind projects, and thus society which hates its ancestors really hates itself. That being said, someone needs to discuss the elephant in the room. As my father said growing up to me, if no one in the room is doing the right thing, that makes it your duty. I sincerely believe that the issues of modern dating are so horrible that they will cause a revolution in the next few years. For people new to my channel, that may sound insane, but I believe it.
You're not Destiny. Slow down. All right, I'll give you 1.5. I'm not listening to this slow ass shit with no fucking music and terrible editing. I'm not listening to it at regular speed.
I believe America, and I would say the Western world in general, is on the verge of what I've called at different points a civil war.
Bro, what the fuck? Why Angry Young Men Rebel? 1.3 million views. Bro, what the fuck? What is it? Christianity Frog Lobster? What the fuck is going on?
Or right-wing backlash. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to tease out the different threads which can explain a unique historic event, which we'll only fully understand once it's occurred, as I believe it will. The purpose of this video is to tease out what I've said before is the biggest crisis of our time, in my opinion, and the most important variable driving this revolution, the young male dating crisis. Why are we waiting? The world is a dangerous and hostile place, and all safe.
The world's a dangerous place. You think it's a little bit angry? The world's a dangerous place. The world's as angry as it gets.
Part 1. The taboo topic. People are not rational. From studies, we found that 90% of the population just rationalizes whatever their emotional state is. Thus, when you're seeing someone say something...
What fuck? You can't just come out swinging and just say that. What fucking study, bro? Just put the study on the screen. You could have just fucking snipped at least the title of the fucking study and slapped that bitch
it's just
on.
A rationalization of what's inside their self-interest to believe. This is obviously true for the left in general today, which is philosophically literally said that logical...
The argument for gender relativism. There are cultural stereotypes around gender. That makes them cultural construct. Cultural constructs are things we invented. Thus, we can invent it. Thus, since we invented it, we can change it at will. Thus, reality doesn't really exist. Where does this actually reference human biology or studies of how the genders operate?
Consistency is white male oppression, and whoever is in power gets to determine what's true. In general, a good way
he didn't even really like... This argument doesn't need to reference human biology at all. Like, human biology is, like, irrelevant. Whatever. But you didn't even reference biology, right? Because you don't need to. In this argument, you don't need to. You need to establish how it's biologically determined.
Someone is actually making an argument or
because they just constructed a logical argument that doesn't invoke biology at all.
Is based on if they use supporting evidence in their claim. If they don't actually have an argument against you, they don't follow a causal chain of logic or have blatant inconsistencies in their argument. We've found through studies where John Haidt is the greatest expert on this topic, and I believe him to be one of the best thinkers of our time, has done a tremendous amount of research on human nature, and everything I've said in the previous paragraph is from his work. He's also found that it's very hard to be rational about things which affect us personally.
Bro, can you just reference where in his fucking work?
To be decently good at analyzing the reality of problems of which we don't have a personal stake. But once you get closer, people can become intensely biased as their thoughts and words.
You can't just cite 3 books and be like, yeah, the last 2 minutes, that's from those 3 whole ass books. Go read them if you're interested, dickhead.
Become excuses for their self-interest. As a tangent, one of the things which annoys me is that people appeal to authenticity, or this emotionally feels right, thus it's moral and good, as if emotions are an arbiter of underlying goodness or truth. That being said, your emotions are a mammal brain manifestation of your genetic self-interest. Your emotions are a lower resolution, more primal version of logic, which involves getting what you want. You'll find that people who are guided by their emotions are intensely selfish, confusingly, often being selfless as a form of selfishness as a way for emotional stability or to look better socially. The reason I'm going through all of this is that this is the topic our society is capable of handling the least rationally. I'll see most people just break down into complete emotion about this subject. People very quickly lose their ability to be objective. I believe this is true, as mating is probably the most important thing in human life. Thus we get very wrapped up in it. You will probably have a lot of emotions watching this video, and that's normal, but you need to take a deep breath.
One of the worst... I hate this shit. Like, if you're putting text on screen, it should be like super short, or you should just read the text. One of the worst intellectual pits people fall into is they're not actually, like, this is a video essay. Say this out loud. What the fuck? They're not actually saying what they're saying. This is a dog whistle for something far worse. This does happen in the real world, but establishes a precedent for making stuff up and incredible straw manning. Ironically, people who do this are much more likely to dog whistle than the people they're criticizing. Saying what they're saying. This is a dog or something worse. This does happen, but it precedent for making stuff up.
Think about what I'm actually...
Bro, if you're dog whistling as a Nazi, or you bring that up? Bro, no, you bring up dog whistle is a dog whistle. Fuck you.
Whenever anyone brings up this topic, they get immediately called an incel. First of all, as you'll get to later, this is a terrible argument.
Jesus Christ. We've removed any rules from discourse. Like, what is this? Is this a quote from one of the books? Why is this on my fucking screen? How many subs does this motherfucker have? 701, bro. Again, this is just more evidence that you can succeed. You have no excuse for failing, bro. This is me yelling at myself and then projecting it out into the stream. Like, holy shit, my guy. This dipshit has 701. Destiny only has 100K more subs than this fucking retard. That's crazy. We removed any rules from discourse in our society. What this has resulted in is a social Wild West in which people use relational warfare for personal social gain. Making stuff up, false allegations, spreading rumors, strawmanning, magical thinking, not following causal logic, and like 30 other things. It's a form of verbal piracy. We'll make a video on this. So it's him talking. It's him in a video essay. He wrote a fucking paragraph that he didn't read, but he put on screen while he said something else. Like, it's not even a quote.
Any single level. If you said this in a debate in a sane society, you get laughed out of the room. A further irony is I get this a lot whenever I talk about this topic. You people know nothing about my personal life, and if you did, you would realize it's absolutely insane to say this about me. People use this photo of me from high school to
This is a funny picture.
Mock me, but I also used to look like this when I was in better shape, and now I look
bro, I also used to be hot. Fuck you.
like this. Well, I've been on keto for over a month to get in better shape now. There is a barrier between
It just shows the worst picture of his face fucking ever.
YouTubers and their audience for obvious reasons, which means you guys really know very little about me. I know me doing this.
Unironically, this just shows you how easy it is to, like, I don't think he's a grifter. I think he's schizophrenic. But, like, if you wanted to be a grifter, you could have this level of quality and make, like, fucking $752,000 a year. Social Blade. I mean, I know this isn't good, but I'm just curious. Get the fuck out. Bro, like, imagine making, let's just say he makes like 1K. He's got to make more than that, though. There's no fucking way, bro. If he like lives off this shit and gets 126 million views, that's crazy. It's got to be more than that. This just seems like so low. Maybe let's just give him like, but still, imagine making like 1K a month off of this retarded shit.
But the thing is, I'm responding to something even more petty, and I need to debunk this line of argument since otherwise it will clog up the entire discourse around this video. If you're a decent person watching this, I apologize. A lot of people think I'm some nerd dwelling in my parents' basement, but this channel is actually a pretty complex.
Incha. Fuck, no, go back. He's Incha. Amare de Wincourt Enjoyer, struggling to goodness and wisdom.
I apologize. A lot of people think I'm some nerd dwelling in my parents' basement, but this channel is actually a pretty complex business that I make decent money off, where this is my full-time job. I have a team which works for me. I live in my own house. I make over 6 figures.
You have a team making these videos? Please tell me that's a lie, bro.
Audi, and I'm 6 foot 4 feet tall. I have a large social network, have founded 8 different social clubs, including one for professional influencers at one point. I'm pretty satisfied with my romantic options right now, and I'm just not an incel. Again, I apologize for the egregious bragging, but if I—
See, and like, why didn't you say this? It's a video fucking essay. Also, side note, as a person who knows a lot of content creators, the things I mentioned unironically don't make you happy. People who are on Instagram living the perfect life are mostly miserable and self-loathing. What people say about celebrities is true.
I don't do this. This video will just
say
devolve
that.
into people calling me a loser without a real argument. The reason I care about this topic—
It's like he wrote his essay, and then as he was reading it, he was like, oh, I should add this. But instead of just like writing the sentence in the essay and then reading it and then continuing reading it, like just doing the quick edit, he like only wanted to read it first and was too fucking retarded to like go re-record or put in like it's just baffling, dude. It's baffling.
People in a horrible way. I care about my fellow young men, and as you'll see later in this video, the whole society. I know hundreds of young men, and almost to a man, they complain about this issue being completely unbearable. I'm generally satisfied in my life now, and I made the choice that now that my needs are met, I want to help my people and community with their issues. Furthermore,
but he's a pathological liar. I don't think he's a pathological liar. I think he is legit insane. I think he's just an insane person. Like, if he tells a lie, he is not conscious of it being a lie. He's just fucking crazy. He's just an insane person, bro. He thinks Odin took over his body and then forced him to make a list of all the women he's masturbated to. Okay? He's an insane person.
Argument is you care about a social issue which affects part of the population, thus you're a loser. It's the equivalent of how in the Middle Ages, if you said the peasants were starving, the society would tell you—
This is AI generated. I'm gonna blow my fucking brains out.
It also portrays a complete lack of empathy or an inability to have any curiosity.
Like, you couldn't even just look up peasant painting. You had to AI. I'm gonna fuck, bro.
And shameful for that.
How am I not? How am I poor? like me specifically, obviously on aggregate, I have rich parents and I'm chilling. But like me, how is he making more money than me as an individual on the internet? Fuck this guy.
It also betrays a complete lack of empathy or an
But
inability
he
to have
came
any
to that
curiosity about
photo
someone else's
based.
issue. In fact, this line
Do you
of
think he
argument
has AI generate like nude art for him?
just proves the incels right that society doesn't care about them at all, and they're an oppressed underclass. I don't think people realize how irrational our society and its thought processes are. I've made multiple videos on this, but the short answer is our society has lost the ability to use causal logic. We just say random stuff and rationalize it later. The thing is, if you discuss the
What the fuck? Oh, is it my videos on this topic? Right.
We just say random stuff and rationalize it later. The thing is, if you discuss these issues and the automatic reply is, you're an incel, that means you just don't care at all.
Bro, he's complaining about people strawmanning, and then he's strawmanning people who he doesn't like. I'm gonna...
about the truth. What this means is relational warfare, or GSR, being gossiping, shaming, or rallying. This is a form of social piracy, in which you use social shaming as a way to push your own self-interest. Our culture does this all the time, every day. What all this belies is that we live in a culture in which young men are seen as completely useless. Society doesn't care about your issues, and basically actively wants young men to die. Just read between the lines.
Who actively wants young men to die? Nobody actually wants that, except for fringe retards on Twitter.
Street interviews of women and men, reading social media comments, seeing what the media are acting.
701,000 subscribers.
The
What do we need men for? Imagine if a guy wrote a book asking what we need women for. I mean, yeah, that's obviously shit too. That doesn't mean we want everyone to fucking die.
Most won't believe it.
Me? Literally me, bro? I want to kill all men?
The other side of this is there's a large community of men who just go, don't worry about these issues, just grind harder, bro, at being successful, bro. They also like to call me a loser for even talking about these issues. This is the social equivalent of a foreign country conquering your nation, oppressing its culture, language, and history. And if you bring it up, they'll say, you should just make a bakery and stop complaining to make some money. If this is a social...
What? So men being oppressed and then having other men be like, just go to the gym, you'll be fine, is the same as being taken over and having your culture overthrown and then somebody telling you to just open a restaurant.
Social issue which hurts a lot of people. We need to talk about it and deal with it. I want us all to be successful, but that's different from just
literally here's all that happened is he has his retarded solution, and then he had some other guys next to him give him like practical solutions of like be physically fit and like try to be successful. And then he's like, this is I'm Poland being taken over by Hitler right now. This is fucked.
Ignoring the reality of the world. There's also a school of just do blank to date. Just go to church. Go to the bar every night. Hit on random girls in the street. Use certain images in your daily life. I know
let me save you a lot of time by forcing you to pause the fucking video and read. Bro, fuck you. Blow it out your ass.
They
I'm
have
not
tested
reading
in
that
some
anymore.
form every single kind of these, and they're generally not that effective. The thing is that
this
a trick
is
like this could
literally, bro, 752,000 views. This is like unironically one of the like most poorly fucking structured video essays I think I've ever seen in my entire life. This is like mind-boggling how awful this fucking video essay is. I'm fucking flabbergasted right now. Like my mind is
men, but then once
imploding.
women catch onto it, it'll stop. It's similar to the stock market or the labor
I'm filled with
market.
rage.
To any hacks people use to invest.
I want
All
him to
of these
fail.
are
He
really
fucking
difficult
deserves
dealing
the
with a horrible
fail. Was this
situation.
video received well? I'm pretty sure this was like considered a schizo video. Most men would not want to fight. Maybe not, bro. Even if you were an incel, it doesn't invalidate your argument. Our great war is spiritual. Our great depression is a lot. Maybe, unless he deleted a bunch of fucking replies. Asmongold reacted to this. I would need to like, I need to download the add-on that lets you see the dislikes. I don't know, bro.
In which they're powerless. The reason I have this giant...
Bro, this video is mind-numbingly stupid. This video is insanely fucking dumb. I'm just so mad at the editing. The editing is so fucking terrible. He wrote like a script and then he just fucking talked. Like, and then he just... And then the text that he doesn't read...
This is a topic which, whenever it's broached...
His fucking audio quality is terrible. Like, he's probably using the same fucking mic he's used his whole life.
People just refuse to speak about it rationally and shut down. For women and older
I just don't even know what his team is. What is his team?
Treat incels as if they're subhuman vermin, and anyone who speaks up about this is a whining loser. Meanwhile, for a large segment of young men, they're being consumed by so much rage on this issue that they've lost the ability to
Fergid with rage.
think rational. Or they're being consumed by the powerlessness of the situation and thus cope about solutions that aren't real. If I didn't have this segment, this video would turn into that, and I want to avoid that so it can remain constructive. A large reason that people become so emotional about the incel rhetoric is that it's an emperor's new clothes.
Bro, I don't even give a fuck who he loves. He believes in Odin. He's retarded.
for our society, in which having to acknowledge that this large demographic of young men has been done wrong by our society would force us to come to...
Like, what the fuck is this? If he was reading it and it was a quote, it would be fine. This is something he wrote but as like it's a whole fucking paragraph he wrote, and he's not reading it in his video fucking essay.
terms with the lies and ideologies which we use to maintain our
Holy
right to rule.
shit.
And thus we attack the incels as a demographic because they force us to realize that our worldview is incorrect.
Like,
Part
how does he not get that him talking at the same time as text being on screen is like very difficult? Unless it's like the title, unless he's like citing a fact and then he has like the title of the article that like that just basically restates him citing the fact. Like, this should not be how this is like acted out. Holy fuck.
crisis of our time. 1/3 of men under 30 are virgins. 1/3 of men under 30 have had no sex in the last year either. Something like half of young men haven't walked up and spoken to a girl in the last year. And something like a quarter of men have never approached a girl
never
in
speak
their
to
lives.
women.
2/3 of young men are
See,
single. Well, I think
this is acceptable. How does so he like clearly he grasps it. He clearly fucking like has it in his brain to like understand why you don't do what he's doing, because he's doing the appropriate thing right now.
for guys my age, and I'm 22, the numbers are probably around 80%. The thing is that these are the kinds of numbers which people tend to feel sensitive about or cope with. Thus, the real numbers are undoubtedly high.
Oh,
These
bro, he
numbers
just looked up loneliness epidemic on Google, didn't read a single article, screenshotted the Google search, and was like, that's good enough. Bam.
absolutely horrifying. I think are symbolic that there is a serious issue. I hope people can understand why when I look at
And
this,
I don't even
see what
disagree, bro. I agree. There is clearly a loneliness epidemic. You're just terrible. You're the worst person to ever live because of how awful your fucking video
likely
is.
the most important issue.
Holy shit.
This is not to say there are not other very serious issues, but reproduction and mating are the most pivotal things in the human condition. Thus, when you create an issue with them, you're ripping the entire society apart. Something
And he
that
was
people
shitting on
recognize-
Harvard kids. Dude, it's crazy. I'm losing my mind. I didn't think it would be this bad. I don't remember. I know I watched one of his videos like years ago, and I don't remember it being this bad. Holy shit. And like, what is this? Where did you get this? Again, if like you could look this up, because well-being measures, right? If he just put the like emblem of the site where he got this from in the corner or some shit, but
was that whatever was going on when you were young is no longer the case. You see a similar thing with economics, where baby boomers often can't comprehend how economically bad it is for young people.
like he couldn't like get the article. This was the first thing that came up on Google. It's literally the first fucking result. Here's what they
In that Gen Z today has 90% less spending power than baby boomers did in their 20s. The world is completely different for reasons I'm going to explain over this video. The biggest mental bottleneck here is that older people don't realize that dating today is no longer reasonable or rational. Things have gotten so skewed that people are acting in incredibly irrational and self-serving ways. The fact that there's an entire branch of data science based around dating, which is incredibly popular, is a sign that we're not in a good place. We have a bunch of metrics which we use to assess when societies have revolutions, but one of the most powerful is the average age of marriage. In every society in which the average age of marriage goes above age 28, there will be a civil war or revolution, as people are designed to procreate, and as that...
What? We're slowing it down so we can re-listen to that.
bunch of metrics which we average age of marriage goes above age 28. Their societies have revolutions, but one of the most powerful is the average age of marriage. In every society in which the average age of marriage goes above age 28, there will be a civil war or revolution, as people are designed to procreate.
What? If the age of marriage goes above 28, there will be a revolution. What the fuck are you talking about? What? I don't think I'm gonna bet there has literally never been a single time in all of history where it's been, you should try ayahuasca. I want to. Maybe I can be friends with Odin. What the fuck are you? There's never been a time in history where the marriage age was above 28. I'm just gonna guess. Apparently it never fucking existed before 1890. You know, I'm gonna say it probably doesn't go farther back. So like, what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about, bro? What the fuck are you talking about?
Average age of marriage goes above age 28. There will be a civil war or revolution, as people are designed to procreate, and as that gets too difficult, they then burn down the system so they can roll the dice to get at least some shot of having their genes survive.
That doesn't even make fucking sense. So if they go above the age of 28, if marriage goes above the age of 28, they're going to revolt because they need to spread their genes. So they're going to destroy the system, the roll the dice to spread their genes. So in order to spread your genes, you destroy the system and maybe die. What? Wouldn't theoretically, if you are desperate to spread your genes, you would pursue less risky behavior? What? Or I guess the theory is just like, well, I haven't nutted in a pussy, bro. So, you know, I gotta kill everything now.
Is now collapsing
to like try to have a baby.
Terrifying level. It's scary to watch.
And then earlier in the video, he's talking about how people are inherently irrational and they don't, like 90% of people just act on their emotions. But then how can you say like, oh, well, people want to just fuck. So the rational thing to do if you want to just fuck is to burn the whole system down. So they are rational actors. They're rational actors insofar as fucking.
Watch, it's almost every country in the world except the poorest are now having unsustainable birth rates. It's falling very rapidly and not stabilizing anywhere, rather just going down and down. In a country like South Korea, for every 100 of their people they have today,
bro, don't forget to follow me, and any donations are appreciated.
The thing is, this isn't happening in the lab, but rather in the real, messy political world. What would the social ramifications of a change this big be? Furthermore, this is an example of how bad things can get if the sexes don't get along. A society with bad dating and marriage is a society which won't survive. This is a topic which I've made this video about, but there are 3 key factors which push dating to be what it is today.
I also love how much he pushes his videos, bro. He's pushed like 10 of his fucking videos.
Being the dating apps, which on a systematic level massively destroy the dating balance between men and women. What occurs here is that since it makes it incredibly easy for men to reach women, and women are naturally very picky, is that you end up with horrifying inequality. If Tinder, the biggest dating app, was a country, it would be the second most unequal in the world, behind South Africa and ahead of Venezuela. Tinder also filters...
Compare. What does that mean? Compared to what? What?
If Tinder, the biggest dating app, was a country, it would be the second most unequal in the world, behind...
I don't know what that means. Like he's comparing income inequality to Tinder inequality?
South Africa and ahead of Venezuela. Tinder also filters for the most shallow thing, looks, and women tend to be even pickier on looks, while things like personality, game, or social class act as equalizers. Thus, what happens here is the top 10% of men sleep with the top 40% of women. Meanwhile, the bottom 80% of men...
Bro, hypergamy, all the 3 Chads get to nut and all the pussy, bro.
Get basically absolutely nothing from the dating apps, while the top 20% of men gets almost all of the women. This creates a giant class of dissatisfied men, while most women compete for a small group of men who have no interest in dating them. The second factor, one which I discuss in this video, is that feminism has advocated standards on any level for women. Literally think of any standards you can hold a woman to without being called sexist in modern society. You can't expect a woman to be respectful, attractive, take care of the children, not cheat on you.
But nobody actually lives in this world. Like, nobody in the real life. Like, if you tell somebody, like, yeah, my girlfriend was lazy and had no career ambition, so I broke up with her, everyone, including women, are going to be like, understandable. This just isn't reality. This is fake, bro.
We have loads of expectations.
He lives in the incel simulation.
On men, in that they're expected to be wealthy, strong, charming, kind, politically safe, and about 30 other things. A study asked women what they wanted.
See, he says that, but he makes like all right money. He said he makes 6 figures, like maybe, but he is also like not in shape and like not attractive, and yet he also gets bitches. So like his own existence disproves what he says. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? Fuck you talking about, bro?
Out of men, and there turned out to be over 300 different options. Ironically, men, when asked the same question, just said 3 things: that the woman is cute, kind, and interesting. However, even with all these expectations piled...
Cute, kind, and interesting? That's not even what was listed in the top traits.
Out of men, and there turned out to be over...
Your own chart that says intelligence, good looks, and humor. What the fuck are you talking about?
300
what the fuck is going on?
Ironically, men, when asked the same question, just said 3 things: that the woman is cute, kind, and interesting.
That's...
However, even with all these expectations piled on men, women aren't expected to reciprocate with any effort on their part. Something which my male brain has trouble empathizing with, although I know on an evolutionary basis why women are like this, is
nice
to
get some B-roll, some bitches kissing,
keep a healthy weight, not be promiscuous, and to not be socially annoying is just objectively good advice if they want to get a good man. And we constantly do the male equivalent, as I said before. But if you're offended at people saying that stuff, you're just offended by reality.
Bro, what happened? His audio quality got better. Now he's in both years. This is crazy.
All of this is that women.
Never mind. Sorry, he fucked up. He's back in the left here.
Incentive structures provided to them by society. Most social things are, in fact, negotiations between competing groups with differing self-interest.
That was funny.
If people are given leverage in a relationship, they will exploit it. For example, the advances in technology allowed mass government oppression in the 20th century since they could do it. Imagine with automation, you could see employers need employees less, thus creating a disbalancing labor and capital. Thus, employers could effectively treat employees as slaves, since employees don't have the leverage to push back against it. Human nature is very easy.
But we literally have like. Fuck it. We have like regulations. We already have workers' rights. Like they can't do that anymore. I don't know if you know this, but there's an amendment that made slavery illegal. I know that's crazy, and there's also like laws that stop that from happening. So that's just incorrect. That's false.
Someone doesn't have an incentive to act well, they just won't. What has occurred with the combination of dating apps and feminism is that women never actually have to think about men's needs or wants ever really in society. Society actually tells them on a regular basis that screwing over men is the moral thing to do. The YouTuber Alexander Grace, who has a great channel, has compared the female experience today to being jostled by cabbies or people trying to sell you stuff in the third world. They're so desperate for your time and energy that they come across as annoying. Someone once put together that an attractive woman in a major city can get 1,000 offers of sex in a week, which is not uncommon. Combined with parties, guys.
Damn, I want to be a hot woman. What the fuck?
I think it's completely reasonable to have empathy to think that if this were to happen to a person, what it would do to their ego. Another thing is that people have just socialized a lot less due to the rise of these screens. And what that means is that dating apps are becoming practically the only option for dating, in which a majority of young people's relationships come from online. That means that the flaws in these dating app systems become exacerbated across the entire society. And as women have so much selectivity in the dating apps, that means they don't have to do something.
All these bottom 1% ugly bitches need to learn their fucking place and suck my dick. That's what needs to happen already. These ugly bitches need to shut the fuck up and suck my fucking dick. Okay? That's the problem. They need to let me grab them by the fucking pussy. Okay? I'm tired of all these uppity 1 out of 10s pretending that they're hot shit. Have you seen Gorlock the Destroyer? Fat bitch, disgusting.
Stuff in person and go out to meet people in person. The thing is that this creates two different bad attitudes.
Bro, I am that guy. I am that guy who's like, just go to the gym, bro. Go to therapy in the gym and, you know, he'll be chilling.
Is so easy among women.
I'm the dude invading him. I'm Hitler and he is Poland.
Won't prioritize for long-term happiness,
Not
but rather
funny.
short-term thrills, which is why women go after high-value guys who won't commit to them and date bad boys. On the other side, it builds up feelings of rage, sexual frustration, loneliness, impotence, and powerlessness among men. One of my hot takes that people on the right...
That's crazy that you could just like say all this. You can just say all this and just give no sources. And people are just like, yeah, bro, they just go for the bad boy. Even though he disproves his own fucking thesis. I don't understand. He disproves his own thesis. He like only makes money. He's clearly not fucking intelligent. I'm sorry. He's not. He's a retard. And he's ugly. And he's like not funny. So like I don't get it, bro. You like just prove your own fucking theory. I don't understand. If you can just fuck all the time, you clearly just prove your own theory.
The people who are worst off,
unless you're just lying,
women.
Which maybe he is.
Women are by nature dependent upon other people in the society more so than men. Men, when isolated, do a better job of surviving and staying sane. As a general rule, if you put men under pressure, it'll probably make them stronger. But there's a higher chance they'll just break women. Our society pumps young women with the worst possible advice so as to keep them isolated and easier to manipulate. Young women have the worst mental health.
Provide evidence. What the fuck are you talking about?
Any demographic in society. I'm yet to meet a woman under the age of 25 who doesn't have a serious mental health issue. In the same manner that young men are lonely and single.
all these bitches got BPD, hot chip, and they lie.
It's also true of young women, albeit not as bad, with only half of young women being single as young men.
He is. It's so obvious. It has to be.
Young women have a bad habit.
He has to be lying. He has to not be getting bitches. Like, I just don't believe it.
My opinion of surrounding themselves with people who just affirm whatever they want to hear, which ends up giving them the worst advice, which they then rationalize with politics. The thing is, processes like this become cumulative issues in which they add up to be more than the component parts. This is something I talk about a lot.
What did Asmongold say about this? Did Asmongold, is Doom still here? Did Asmongold give this a positive review? This video fucking sucks, bro. This video is so unbelievably terrible. I can't believe this has like 750,000 views. That's fucking insane. How dog shit this is.
Logical Black Death.
It doesn't have a serious mental illness.
Our society is going crazy in general.
And he just plugged another video.
This exacerbates everything on since you remove the ability to rationally reset. This bleeds.
I'm just like, oh, thank God, bro. We played another video. I'm like flabbergasted that somebody can just like say this. Like he can just say this. He has, what the fuck? Why is one of my old coworkers calling me? What the fuck is going on? I'll call him back later. What the hell? I'm just like flabbergasted that he's just like people will just say this. Like they just like there's no foundation, there's no anything. Nothing's happening. There is no thought. There's no fucking research. He just is like, oh no, man, we like women. They just want to fuck hypergamy. They just fuck the bitch. They fuck the chads, bro. And then it's like 750,000 views. The only way to meet a woman post 2030 is to dress as a bear and go to the woods and hope one picks you. Like, what the fuck?
Well, I won't bring up here in great detail since it's so depressing and horrible, but watch the video if you want to know more. It's hard to convey in words how desperate most young men feel in dating.
Also, put music in your video, please. I don't want this silence. Your audio quality sucks. The music would help hide it, please.
It's something which they very rarely admit, often to themselves, in which bringing this up makes them angry, but it's an unspoken subconscious terror which racks my generation. It's a sense of betrayal by a society which would rather they never reproduce, or better, never be born in the first case. Part 3, Shaming the Bear. One of the sad realizations of my life was coming to terms with the idea that our elite are not intelligent or capable.
This guy's gay. He got caught kissing 72 guys, and he's anti-gay.
They were
what a
making
silly
decisions
boy.
Based off fear, reaction, and stupidity. The evil
he also, I'm pretty sure he wrote a book about wearing suits, which is like kind of funny and
exist,
you know,
but they're not particularly
makes sense
or brilliant. The reason I say this is I see such profound disbalance, almost like a room that's about to burst with pressure versus another one next to it, which is a vacuum sucking in pressure. I just can't believe no one else
why
sees
is this
it
picture here? What does this picture represent?
besides me. These two rooms are the arrogance and delusion of our
Do you know the guy next to him? Nah.
Married women as a demographic to pull authority from, and dissatisfied young men. I've talked about this calculation in multiple videos for multiple hours, but to boil it down, it's very simple in fact, that the group which holds power is stupid. Don't taunt the bear. The other thing which I don't understand is the lack of an out. When I invite people to events,
we're just so dangerous. We all have we have no job, no desire to do anything. We're all stuck to our screens. We're really apathetic and can't accomplish anything. But don't fuck with the bear, bro. Don't fuck with us. We're scary.
Do stuff, I always give an out. I'll say, I got impression you're busy.
Unironically, this is the right-wing version of those, like, there's that one fucking Twitter thread where the communists are like, I can't own firearms because I'll kill myself. This is literally the right-wing version of that. Holy shit, man.
But if you'd like to come, you're welcome to.
It's some cray-cray shit. What do you do?
Which is one of the most important parts of social interactions.
Deep. Bro, unironically using the, like, deep Facebook memes. What the fuck?
Establish a path by which they can cooperate with the system as a way to divert talent that would otherwise rebel. This is why the British recruited the Scottish or Irish to fight and populate their colonial empires, or why the Romans would co-opt and assimilate the ruling classes of the regions they conquered. Modern dating is a humiliation ritual for young men. Society won't tell you the rules of how to attract women, and in fact, it will give you the exact wrong advice. Then if you do learn what the rules are and share them, society will shame or cancel
you.
Oh
my god.
If you don't get girls,
put the gun in my head. Yeah, society tells me to, like, be nice and work on myself. That's cringe and gay. Give me my state mandated waifu already, you fuck.
You'll be shamed. If you
being nice is no value here. If she's ridiculous, tell her. If you want something, say it. She'll respect you for this. They should give her a firm backhand.
If you try to hold your female partners to any standard.
7 liaisons with prostitutes from Emperor's Club over 6 months and paid more than $15,000 for their services. Federal agents had him under surveillance twice in 2008. There's more. He just sounds like a Sigma, bro. He's like Hassan who fucks prostitutes. Okay, hold on one sec. I don't know why he's calling me. I'm sorry. Sorry. He kept calling me, and so I was like, is this a problem? Is something bad happening? No, he was just, it was an old coworker, and he was drunk, and he wanted to check in on me. So
for anything. One of the things which I'm shocked our culture accepts is that it's perfectly normal for women to complain about the men in their lives publicly and on the internet. One of my good friends had his girlfriend talk about his sexual inadequacies publicly on Twitter. Look at how on TikTok there's an entire industry of women posting their dating advice with men, often talking about very private details such as sex or things which the men
things guys wish girls understood. Sign someone is about to ghost you, bro. Imagine like basing your understanding of women off of shitty clickbait TikToks that last like 30 seconds. Like, I now understand women, bro. I watched like 4 TikToks from some fucking like dumb 16-year-old. Hell yeah.
This sort of thing is evil in that it's a complete violation of social trust. This sort of thing serves literally zero social benefit. These social platforms have a lot of control over the content they let out. How come this stuff is accepted, but YouTube will take down my videos on Southeast Asian anthropology or American regional cultures? This gets even worse
because you're a silly boy and you say silly things.
With marriage, where there's a 50%
that are probably racist. I don't know. You know, you're weird. You're weird about sex. You think you're possessed by Odin. You know, things are weird.
If a man gets married, he'll get divorced. With in 70%
on a
of
video
cases
so we
being
wouldn't
started by the women.
leave. I know. I should have just left this video on.
And among the college-educated ruling class, it's 90%. In statistically most cases, this is just because the woman got bored, not because the man did anything wrong, but she can often take a majority of a man's income and his children.
What? What does that mean? She got bored.
And among the college-educated ruling class, it's 90%. In statistically most cases, this is just because the woman got bored, not because the...
Basic incompatibility. That's because she got bored, bro. Also, I don't know where the fuck you got this. Like, this does not help me at all or anything. She got bored. Basic incompatibility, which is like an extremely reasonable reason to leave somebody. It's like, we are incompatible on like a fundamental level now. He's like, it's because the bitch got bored. Fuck these hoes.
The man did anything wrong, but she can often take a majority of a man's income and his children. The courts are obscenely biased against men. Society will take a woman's word whether or not there's any evidence behind it. I had some tweets which went viral where I talked about all the ways young, especially white men, are actually discriminated against in society. We've already talked about discrimination in the courts, which if you want to add another element includes the discrimination against Western citizen populations.
Oh my God, he just keeps fucking
I can tell the
yapping.
oppression of young white men in the Western world to literal...
Again, another instance where he just puts up a bunch of fucking text and expects you to read it. Like, it's a fucking video essay. Read it for me, dumbass.
Nations, like the Irish under English colonialism, and found the only difference to be that the Irish weren't allowed to vote or own property, while modern whites can. This also includes job hiring, in which 95% of new jobs created since COVID in major companies have gone to minorities. This means that there's basically a war by established whites who run these companies against the young men trying to get started. Almost all young white men in big companies have been told that they won't get promoted, and instead, diversity hires will. This is hard to overemphasize in that, in addition to the sexual inadequacy, is financial inadequacy, which further emphasizes the sexual issues. One of the things I find shocking in my own personal network and with my personal projects is the insane level of quality I can get. I'll be working with people and think, I don't really have the money to pay you for this, but you should be the CEO of a company or working for the government's foreign policy. Instead, you're doing a project with the WhatIfAltHist guy since society stopped hiring white men. There is a giant class of obscene...
You should be running the world, bro. But society fucked you. Now you're hanging out with me.
Competent young men who are dissatisfied and have nothing better to do. Part 4. Download this revolution. I saw this tweet which did very well, which said, "You don't understand. You have an entire generation of fighting-aged men with nothing worth living for. You should be scared." This summarizes how I feel, and I'm pretty sure the guy who wrote that tweet watches my channel. The thing I don't understand is how the elite goads young men and eggs them on. A thing is that humiliation is incredibly degrading, especially for young men, since they're society's foot soldiers and haven't passed on their genes yet.
Like, what does that even, bro, what does that even fucking mean? What does that mean? That it's especially embarrassing for young men because they're society's foot soldiers? What does that fucking mean, bro? Explain that shit. What does that fucking mean? Like, they're society's foot soldiers. Like, already weird. Explain. And then they like get more humiliated than normal because they're society's foot soldiers. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck does that even mean, bro? What the fuck are you talking about? Huh?
Is how much the left gloats over its victory. Removing young men from all culture, with Google Gemini as a great example. Not hiring almost any young men, or basically making humiliation rituals in the education.
Literally, he just looked up like women workforce statistics and then didn't read any of it and just like,
education or corporate system. If you're a wise conqueror, don't gloat in your victory too much since you derive no benefit from it and you want the conquered to cooperate. That being said,
women derive no benefit from it because, hold on, I'm gonna connect the dots on this one. His weird incel dots. Women don't actually derive benefit from being able to get better paying jobs, even though they clearly do. The reason they don't is because then there's less men in higher paying jobs, and women just want to have babies because that's all people want to do. So by kicking men out of the workplace and giving them like and getting higher paying jobs, they aren't gonna have enough men to fuck them and have babies with. So their life is worse. What? Excuse me, bro? I know that might be like, that's a stretch. No, it's fucking not, bro. He's brought up like how all humans want to do is have sex because we're not getting married, because now women aren't getting married. Now that women are getting married at the age of 28, we're gonna have a fucking revolution.
said, the left is not wise.
I don't usually want to just be like, that's straight sexist. That's just straight sexist. Like, women, don't you get it? By you having high-paying jobs, you're not going to find any men to come in your pussy. So this actually hurts you. Gib job. Please.
It is in fact suicidally delusional. Another thing to keep track of is the two biggest influences young men have from women are porn and feminism. One of them makes them degrade women, seeing them as not respectable or as sex objects, while the other one is porn. The thing is, men hold the balance of actual physical force in society, and women have offset that over history by being kind and with sex. Men in general either view women as sex objects or wife material. Women, for reasons
Bro, he's literally talking about the Madonna horror complex. That's not how most people view men, or most men view women. That's how mentally ill men view women. Holy fuck, bro. Imagine outing yourself that fucking hard. Oh my god. That's crazy.
Portray themselves as one and
Jesus Christ. Literally the Madonna horror. I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. Literally the fucking Madonna horror complex. Madonna horror complex is the inability to maintain sexual arousal within a committed and loving relationship. Said to develop men who see women as either Madonnas or debased whores. Imagine outing yourself that fucking hard, dude.
To view women who aren't of marriage material with complete consent. The thing is, we've removed the positive feminine from life. It's hard
he jerks off the paintings. Fuck, I forgot. That's right. He jerks off the art. He's an artiste.
Pulling out the chance of taking in the positive feminine will turn men absolutely violent. Men like violence, and if they're not incentivized against it, things are going to get really ugly.
And then he brings up the positive feminine.
Where they try.
Why did the audio quality change?
To get a group of young men and young women to survive on an island by themselves. And what happened next was basically what you'd expect, where the young men did very well, and the young women had to be rescued by the TV crew. And although this is silly, I think it's indicative of some underlying reality of the human condition, in that, in the state of nature, it's men's role to fight against the outside world with things like war, or the jungle, or farming, and women form the heart of the community away from all of that. And if you look over history...
Farming is fighting the outside world? I know that's like low-bearing fruit, but fuck him, bro. Fuck this guy. Fuck literally everything he said so far. Like, unironically, no meme.
You find that
like everything, the editing's terrible, the fucking structure's terrible. Like, he keeps fucking repeating himself. He like doesn't research, or like sometimes he'll throw up a graph and he won't tell you where he fucking got the graph. Like, nothing he does is good. Everything he's done is fucking bad, bro. It's like stilted fucking delivery.
Patriarchal waves roughly every 500 years, with previous examples being the Augustan reforms, the Reformation, the fall of Rome around 1000 AD and more. So it wouldn't be that strange to imagine we'd have another one of these soon. And
the Reformation? What? What do these have anything in relation to each other? What the fuck does the Reformation have in relation to the fall of fucking Rome? What? You can't just be like, well, every like 500 years there's like conflict. Therefore, conflict time, bro.
What happens with these is that in a world that's barbaric...
That's the most brainlit shit I've ever heard in my fucking life, dude. That's so fucking brainlit. He's like, well, you see, every 500 years, something happens. So... something happens. No, sorry. We are chud-jacked pilled over here. Nothing ever happens, bro.
We have another one of these soon. And what happens with these
I mean, deja vu. We've had this conversation before.
That's barbaric. Men install themselves as higher social status than women because they're more responsible for facing the threats of the outside world. And then as society gets safer, women's social status rises, and men are willing to do this because it helps the entire society and them in general, until what happens is the men have no incentive to cooperate in the society, and thus the society falls apart and the cycle restarts. A point I'd like to throw out here is that...
bro, dude, he just did the fucking meme. He did the, weak men make hard times meme. He just did it. Look at that. He did it. He did the meme. He said we're in the weak men are creating hard times meme. That's pretty funny. That's a good meme.
Among young people, the political divide is largely that of gender, where across the industrialized world, most young men tilt right and most young women tilt left.
Bro, South Korea is so insane. South Korea is so fucked, bro.
Because you think, how are they going to breed and start families? And this trend is just getting more and more pronounced over time.
We can't come and no. Call me pussy.
Talking to my good friend Homath about where you meet women today.
Of course. That actually makes so much sense that he's friends with Homath. Holy fuck. That actually makes so much sense. Homath is another like weird incel guy who don't honestly, Homath's videos are like pretty entertaining. He draws like fun graphs and shit. He just draws like really complicated little graphs and stuff, and it is entertaining to watch. It's all incorrect, but it's like pretty entertaining to watch.
Okay. We've already spoken in this video about how...
But it makes perfect sense, brother. These two like retarded suits. The fucking worst thumbnails ever
online dating
are mind melding.
On top of that, picking up girls in places like parks or bookstores has become taboo alongside work. This leaves bars and nightclubs. The thing is that bars or clubs don't tend to attract good women and skew the odds against men in every possible way. The logic for
bars and clubs only attract dumb whores, but you can't even say that. You can't say that like bars and clubs attract bad women, but also at the same time be like, well, we used to go to bars and clubs, and now it's fucked up, bro. Now it's all online. Like you can't carry both these thoughts in your brain at the same time. They are incompatible.
Nightclubs is to offer women attention as easily as possible while
Dude,
lowering the chances
cut this shit out. Stop it.
a woman has to offer anything to the man, which is why women like them. Likewise, people say you can meet girls at community or friend groups, but as of now, there's an unspoken rule in a lot of these that you shouldn't date them since it'll disturb the intricate friend networks which make up those communities.
I just like this needs unironically, hold on. I'm bringing up a fucking picture because unironically this is his entire video. Like this entire fucking thing. Hold on, I gotta close the display capture real quick. The entire fucking thing is just this. Like this is this guy. Like what the fuck are we doing here? Like excuse me, bro. Like this is this guy. Like unironically, this is him. Like what the fuck is going on here? Jesus.
As well as that, women tend to just do less activities than men. Most young women just go to work and
Dab,
then go home.
got 'em, boys.
Then said one of the most blackpilling things in my life, with I guess there's nowhere anymore. In my personal experience, of the 50 most handsome, charismatic, intelligent, and successful guys I know, the vast majority are single, even though they have a lot to offer. They just aren't that many mechanisms through which you can
Bro,
meet without sex.
all my friends are like super cool, so why can't they fuck? It's fucked up world, bro. Incel revolution.
The majority of my friends were fuckboys, and they could generally get laid a lot, but not meet women they wanted or respected enough to date or marry. This revolt, which would be tied in with conservative politics and values, would not be pushed by losers. The upper-class men, even if their romantic lives are good now, realize how much in the long term the society is stacked against their reproductive self-interests, with stuff like divorce law, the indoctrination of their children, or the destruction of their societies in general. Revolutions work when there are counter-elites.
You can't even say indoctrination of their you can't, bro. He just showed that fucking men are becoming more right-wing. What indoctrination are you talking about? Indoctrination works, but only on like women because they're retarded. Men, we're sigmas. We don't get indoctrinated. So indoctrination only works against people that I dislike. Women.
With them, rather than just being peasant uprisings, which always get crushed. The incel revolution would be led by Chads, who would gather incel soldiers to fight for them.
The incel revolution will be led by Chads. This doesn't... How can you hold these two thoughts in your head? How can you have it in your brain that women are into hypergamy and only fuck Chads, but also Chads aren't getting fucked and are going to lead the incel revolution because there's no women worth fucking? Or like no women worth dating. But like if men have access, the only reason that, in theory, the reason men don't have access to women worth dating is because all the women are, including the women worth dating, are going to the top 10% of men. So the top 10% of men who are the Chads would have all the women who are worth dating because by definition they just get all the women. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Human nature is often a funny thing.
I'm just waiting for him to say
People look back at
Stacey's.
history and think, why do people wage war over such silly things like ethnicity, religion, ideology, etc.? And the reality is that if you look over human history, war is normal, peace is not, and every era of history will justify wars for whatever ideological reason matters to that society.
We just love killing.
And so historians looking back on this
10 more
conflict
minutes.
won't see it as an incel revolution, they'll see it as an ideological war between the right and the left. And people will create ideological justifications and not admit how hard
What even is this? I don't even know what this map is. Is this supposed to be like all... Did he like look up... I wonder if he painted this himself, because it's really shit. So I feel like he did this himself. This is also part of like, is this part of like Canada, or am I retarded? I don't know.
Lives are, even though the reason for the war is
That's funny. He like painted in all the blue parts of the states.
If you went back in time and interviewed the normal young men and soldiers fighting in historic wars, like let's say the 30 Years' War, the Napoleonic Wars, they would say they were fighting because they couldn't get married or they couldn't find real work. And historians afterwards will rationalize the war for all these complex macro political and ideological reasons. But
bro, all these historians, they like study history and they come up with these like rational conclusions. In reality, let me lay down some truth for you. In reality, it's all incels all the time. Every time a guy can't nut in a pussy, he just kills somebody. He gets crazy and he kills a motherfucker, okay? Just look at all history. Every war was because some dude couldn't come, okay? History exists on a come to not come like dichotomy, right? Can the dudes come? All right, we're at peace. They can't come, there's gonna be a lot of murder. Right now, we're getting way too dangerously close to the can't come category. Shit's gonna get crazy. We need to scooch way closer to the can come category, and that's how you save society, bro. The more I can nut in pussy, the less war there will be. Thank you.
the reality is it's often just
the MS Paint, the anti-aliasing, the paint bucket toning, so obvious.
This would be a war fought over ideological reasons, but keep in mind that 80% of young men are currently screwed in the modern dating market.
Society exists on a need-to-come basis.
Both the right and the left.
The more you need to come, the more death there's going to be.
The great irony here is that as women have gained more social power, they have used this to abdicate responsibility, which in turn makes them more fragile. The end point of modern feminism has been to abdicate responsibility for women. A woman can never have her feelings hurt on political topics, or intellectual ones, never feel awkward around men, socially, or held responsible.
Who believes this? Name... You could probably name one. Name like 5 people. Name 5 people that you've met in real life who believe this. Name 5. You can't, because they don't fucking exist. They're not real. You're punching ghosts. They don't fucking exist.
The problem is that reality is a horrible...
Or they're just rage baiting. Like, this retard fell for the rage bait, and now he hates women.
Demon, which will keep kicking you in the face if you don't want to listen to it. This has created a weak
he fell for the fucking rage bait on Twitter because his brain is too retarded. Like, Odin's too stupid to get that it's rage bait. Holy shit.
Incapable of resisting the revolution.
Actually crazy, bro.
Data harvesting. I talk to hundreds of young people and ask them their opinions on various subjects. I also read the comment section of any content creators I can as a way of figuring out what the cultural zeitgeist is. I also release certain tweets.
To determine the cultural zeitgeist, he reads YouTube comments and Twitter comments. Bro. Dude, I get my news from the only reliable source. Cryptic symbolism in my dreams, bro.
And do polls to collect information with the public.
Literally just admitted it's all vibes. Like, unironically, he
thinks on various things on a purely intuitive basis. And you don't have to believe me. A large group of young men are desperate enough that they need to do this to not go crazy. Technological advances have made the ability to organize secretly through various encrypted online methods very easy. People will say most young men are too fat, lazy, or docile to rebel. That might be true, but most people don't matter. In revolutions, there are tiny elites who mobilize the population.
And we're doing great man theory. Bro, it's all coming together. Every silly thing is meshing. He's like, everyone's too lazy and apathetic to do anything. That's true, but if we get like one cool guy, then revolution happens. They're still apathetic, lazy, and stupid, but like, I don't know, Giga Chad will show up. He'll save the day.
They're organized, thus their opinions don't matter, and they're conscripted by the radicals. Before the English Civil War, it was conventional wisdom that the English had grown too soft to fight. They didn't get a choice, as the Cavaliers and Roundheads conscripted men to fight for them. One of the few valid arguments against this point stems from the Mouse Utopia video. This is a long enough argument where I can't get into here, but read this text.
The Mouse Utopia is so fucking retarded. Like, mice don't socialize like human beings. That's it. That's the end of the fucking discussion.
Basically,
and what do you even mean? I just read this. This made me mad. There were hordes of aggressive nihilist mice. Nihilist mice. Like, the mice came together and had a philosophical fucking discussion and became fucking nihilist. You are imparting philosophical, like, systems onto fucking mice, bro? Are we gonna start discussing the, like, inherent altruistic, like, communism of fucking dolphins next? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Nihilism and degeneracy of modern culture is unprecedented. A study on mice from 1960s and 70s, which gave them perfect conditions for population growth.
Are we going to be like, bro, dolphins are clearly egoists, bro. Do you know how much they rape? They're egoists. They clearly came together and they agreed egoism.
Which then resulted in seeing their society fall apart, had very similar and scary conditions to the modern world. The thing is, the mice grew effeminate and weak. They stopped breeding. An important thing to think about, and the best argument against this to steelman the case, is that if you look at Mouse Utopia, the mice had rapid declines.
Mice politics. Literal, unironic mice politics. Imagine basing an opinion on mice politics, bro.
And I feel kind of nervous saying stuff like this because when you give someone 5 options and a single out, they'll often immediately jump on the out without thinking as a way to not deal with the issue. But perhaps due to Mouse Utopia, young men are too weak to actually fight. That being said, knowing young men, I don't think that's actually the case. That being said, if young men don't stand up...
So then why even bring it up? So who fucking cares? Why even bring it up? Why bring up Mouse Utopia then? You literally brought it up and you're like, well, it doesn't matter. So why talk about it? Why do we engage?
On a peaceful basis, our mouse colony is doomed, as procreation and society will fall apart. What happened in every single version of the Mouse Utopia experiment was that the colony totally failed, collapsing down to 0. Gangs of evil mice killed those who continued to procreate. This is the equivalent of the antenatal governments pushing various evil
say
policies,
Walt Disney
which
was
crashed
stupid?
the birth rate so much so that society goes extinct. That being said, this young male revolt would be absolutely horrifying to witness. People return...
Are you ready for the new world order? No more human rights or borders. We own you, your sons and daughters.
Non-moralistic culture, in that we don't hold anyone to hard moral standards. What this means is that once the blood starts flowing, no one believes in moral standards enough to check their bloodlust. This war will be far less humane than the previous American Civil War or Revolution. I've been betting my money for years that America will have a rape crisis at some point in the future. I've said in previous videos that for a bunch of reasons, which I explained in this text wall, at the
how much money do you think you could scam from this guy? I want to bet 1,000. I want to bet 10 grand every year that there isn't a civil war, so I can just get free $10,000 from this fucking retard.
Civil war. That being said, you've suddenly armed a group of sexually frustrated, resentful young men. They'll probably view women as a leftist enemy and must feel no remorse for being brutal. There is no unifying ideology on the right, which means it will be exceptionally difficult to maintain a strong ruling government, which will probably devolve into various warlords using effective...
Paying my money for years, and I keep fucking losing. I don't know why I'm doing it. Fuck. The Civil War doesn't happen. I remember, does Tim Pool... Bro is praying someone will save him from an eternity alone. Does Tim Pool still say there's going to be a Civil War? I just remember back in the day, when he was like more closely associated with like Joe Rogan and shit, he would like just constantly talk about Civil War. It was like as soon as the Twitter file shit was open, he just constantly wouldn't shut the fuck up about Civil War.
Women in my audience, please be very, very careful in the future. To be clear, I'm not saying
a lot. How often do you have to say Civil War until like at what point how does the audience not tune out? It's like, bro, you've been saying I haven't watched Tim Pool in like 3 fucking years. So he's been at least saying Civil War for, let's just say, like 4 years, like probably like 5 or 6. Like, if you've been saying there's gonna be a Civil War for 4 to 5 years, at what point do you just do you as an audience member just tune out and go like, bro, you are wrong, like clearly, what the fuck?
But
let's watch Tim Pool vid. I'm down.
Something truly horrible.
I'm down to bully Tim Pool. Fuck that guy.
For me, just expressing this concern, I will undoubtedly be called a evil misogynist.
I'm gonna pull a Hassan. I'm grabbing food.
There are 2 changes women have pushed, which have really shocked.
Okay, he's literally just like, I'm gonna be called a misogynist. My boy, my dude, my homie, you literally just said that women getting jobs is bad for them because they can't fuck. Like, well, okay, you didn't literally say that. I extrapolated based on the information you provided. I'm standing by it. Fuck you. Like, come on.
Since they remove leverage against men. One is to fund the police. Women have been able to use the state to protect them in the same way that men have for most of human history. By removing the state's protective ability, women put themselves in a precarious position where they need men to protect them, but they have since alienated their relationship with men who could protect them, or our society doesn't train men to be able to protect them in general. This creates incredibly bad incentives for predatory young men. The second is birth control. I'm surprised so few other people have realized this, but birth control gives young men tremendous leverage over women. For human history, a man would get a woman pregnant and then have to deal with her and the child. With birth control, powerful men can just use women for sex and then not have any consequences, which would then give the women leverage.
People were already doing that. What are you talking about? Now men can just nut in that pussy whenever they want. Fucked up.
I find porn very worrying here, where it pushes unrealistic and disgusting expectations upon men who often don't have much sexual experience. I've said before, I think the propagation of porn will have an enormous effect on history. Almost all men at this point have seen thousands of women naked, which has to change psychology and attitudes
And men, bro. We've seen so much dick. Crazy.
towards sex in a profound way. If you give young men power and porn is the source of their expectations, that's not good. At the same time, showing men the most beautiful women in the world naked while they don't have actually many sexual opportunities is a horrible combination because it builds up envy and resentment without a release. The de facto removal of monogamy would probably result in...
Says who? What? Who here has masturbate? Like, bro, he's just outing himself so hard. Imagine masturbating and then being like, fuck, bro, now I hate women. Masturbating to porn has built up resentment. Bro, you're just outing yourself so fucking... No one... Look, when I watch porn, there are plenty of times where, like, I feel gross. And I'm like, damn, I can't believe I jerked off. That was grody of me. At no point do I finish jerking off and I'm like, I fucking hate women so much.
Terrible dynamics where the new rightist nobility keeps harems while they dole out sex to their followers in exchange for loyalty. This is not a pleasant reality, and I'm not sure it's the most likely,
top
but
G
it's certainly a
based.
possibility. I think the reason women like The Handmaid's Tale so much is partly since it's a very good book. In fact, I would say it's one of the best science fiction books ever written, but also women intuitively realize how precarious their liberties are, in that for most of history, men have treated women as property. A lot of people on the right have said that men haven't oppressed women over history, and I do think gender roles are driven off biology, but I can't write off female genital mutilation, foot binding, or PERDA. An important point here is that with the crashing birth rate, we will have to return to more historical, normal gender standards. In the incredibly rapid population growth of the 20th century, population growth was put at a low level of importance since it was occurring so rapidly anyway. However, as the world population will start to plummet over the course of the 21st century, our culture will rapidly have to put a very heavy emphasis
Of a midget getting fucked, and I felt sick. That's gross. You ever see that video of a girl who gets fish put up her ass, and then she starts crying and saying she wants to go back to the cafe?
on family values,
Pretty crazy.
since raising the birth rate will become the most important thing for survival. To circle back to the beginning, humans are foolish and irrational creatures. We overreact when our emotions feel hurt, and one of the worst parts of the human condition...
What the fuck? Why is this painting like AI upskilled? What am I looking at? No. In high school, my friends showed everybody that video because they thought it was funny.
are the oscillations...
Oh, it's
between
fucked, but you know,
pendulums of
I was
both
like
unpleasant
14.
realities. This is very plain to see, for example, in Latin America, where a right-wing tyranny will be followed by a left-wing tyranny. Opposite politics, but both of which are tyrannies. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth will make the world go blind past a certain point, even though you still need to punish evil. That being said, we have the power at this point to stop this overcorrection from being horrifying. Between us stand two rocks, one which is complete social extinction, and the other a society of sex slaves. It's
What?
up to us to steer between Scylla and Charybdis.
And then it just ends. Fuck you. You cringe, and I hate you, bitch.